So we got a very interesting topic. This is the cookies and milk hour. We're going to talk about legalizing prostitution. A lot of people have issues with this, and it's crazy because I was just thinking like a couple of days ago, I was like, it's kind of weird that, let me move this camera back some. It's kind of weird that like women, most of the time it's men that gives women permission what to do with their body, right? The big one is abortions. This one right here, selling your body. And I feel like, again, it's basically people telling women what they can do with their body, okay? Here's my thoughts on legalizing prostitution in the U.S. I think that if you legalize prostitution, it would take sex off the pedestal. Like a lot of time, what does guys do? We focus on sex a lot, right? And a lot of time, that's been kind of like the trophy after you like get a girl. And it really shouldn't even be like that. Think about this. If sex was legal in the US, right? And guys could get it easily. When they went out on dates, would they focus more on the girl that they dating, or would they focus more on sex? Something to think about. They would focus more on sex. I don't. They'll focus more on dating and getting to know the girl that they're dating, because they're looking for something serious most likely. I mean, of course, there's still going to be those people who are going to be looking just for sex, right? And they're going to lie, and they're not going to give their true intentions. But the majority, because it's so easy to get sex, you can just go pay for it real quick, boom, boom, get it off. It'll bring down the hype of what comes with just sex for people just looking for sex. If you're looking for a relationship, it becomes better because us guys, look, we're like, okay, sex isn't as important. I can get that anytime. And that's kind of what women do at this point in time. They can get sex. They can walk down a block and get sex by the time they get to the end of one block, right? For guys, it's a little bit different. A lot different, actually. So think about this. So what do women like most of the time? They focus on who the guy is, like what he's about, how he treats people, how, and relate that to how he might treat her. And that's because, again, they don't put sex on a pedestal with guys, right? And it's not because it's hard for girls to come and all of that stuff. No, it is because they can get it at any point in time. Now, think if you gave both gender roles that same exact thing. We can both get sex anytime that we want. Legalize prostitution. I feel like that's one of the things that will tremendously change the world. But I think it's a lot of money put into it, which is why it hasn't been pushed, because then you have to keep records of who goes to the brothels or who having sex with these girls. They have their records of who's, when they become safe. So now they're on record for selling sex, selling their bodies. And I think a lot of people just don't want to be recorded. They want it private in this industry. And I think that's the biggest thing why prostitution hasn't been legalized in the U.S. Because let's say one of the senators or one of the police officers go to one of these brothels, and then they have to document that they've been there. Then there's cameras, of course. They don't want that. That's one reason why prostitution, I feel like it'll take, I don't know what it would take to actually get prostitution legalized in the U.S., but it's gonna take a hell of a lot. A lot of people think like, oh, like married people are gonna go and start, having sex with these girls at the brothels, and You know what? That's true. For the ones that are unhappy in their marriage, the ones who probably shouldn't have been married in the first place, they're going to dip off and they're going to do that, right? Even the people, and if it was newly legalized, people who hadn't even thought about it before would go try it out if, out of curiosity. And that's just what it is. That's the person that you married. But again, this is not just going to be legalized prostitution for women. It's also going to be legalized prostitution for men who want to sell their bodies, right? A lot of people just don't think about both sides, and a lot of people think just, oh, prostitution is bad. Like, that's what's been put out there in the world, even though a lot of people, the people who are making these laws and saying that it's bad and locking people up for it, are the exact people who are doing it also. Very fascinating, right? So it's a very fascinating perspective. So the cookies and milk hour, we're talking about legalizing prostitution. And I want to hear what y'all got to say about legalizing prostitution in the U.S. I'm always open to like new ideas and new ways of thinking, and that's what this came about. Because sometimes I sit and think and go into my thought, oh my God, like I have so many topics. Like I have a book right here, and it's just like filled with like topics of things to talk about. And once I like start thinking about something, I start going back and forth with myself and started like taking both sides of an argument and trying to see what people would say, how they would feel. And this was just a very interesting one. So let me know what y'all think about legalizing prostitution in the US. I feel like it'll be the best for everyone. And I know people are gonna disagree, so I'm looking forward to like reading about the disagreements of legalizing prostitution. Let me know what you think, people.